is Tim Boatswain. Tim is the president of St Albans Civic Society. Hello, Tim.
Hi, Nick.
Now, we've had a local election since we last spoke, haven't we?
Yes, Marshalswick East Jersey Farm. And the election was won by the Lib Dem candidate, Rahana Ahmed. And congratulations to her. Not a very big turnout, as you probably would expect for local government. There's never a very big turnout, so I think it was just over 28%. But anyway, congratulations to her.
Yes, and further cementing or retaining, I suppose, the Lib Dem grip on the district council too there.
Oh.
Now, the district council's got some good news on council houses, hasn't it?
Yes, yes. In terms of trying to insulate them and prepare them for, well, make them more sustainable, they put in an application and they've received the grant, and they're going to, well, they've just signed a contract with a company, £18 million worth of improvements to 900 houses. So a lot of people will be looking forward to having warmer houses and more sustainable and ecologically friendly houses, which is good.
So presumably this is things like insulation and heat pumps, that kind of thing, is it?
That's it. And double glazing, insulation, and so on.
Yeah, excellent. Well, that has to be good news, doesn't it? Now, the local plan, we've talked about this so many times, haven't we? But the local plan is open for public comment and input now, isn't it? And there's some exhibitions going on, so tell us about those.
That's right, because we've got to sort of, not quite the end of this month, I think it's the 25th September, isn't it? We've got to be able to comment on this first stage consultation, what they call Regulation 18. It's the first stage consultation. And they're doing exhibitions around the city and district. So I think they started on Saturday at London Colney, but there's still plenty to come. And if you want to look up where you should do it, go on the council site, just put in local plan, and you'll see the timetable come up where your nearest exhibition is going to be.
These exhibitions, Tim, are they something that I could understand if I went along? Is it just huge tomes of strategic planning documents?
Well, because it is complex, the plan, but the explanations about it, of course, there's a lot of focus inevitably on housing, because that's at the crux of a local plan, the housing target. And that, of course, is a bit controversial because the government haven't really reformed the national policy yet. They're talking about it. And you may remember, we've talked about this before, the figures that the council are using, so-called standard method, which is requiring over 15,000 houses to be built, is demographically wrong. And that's problematic. It doesn't, of course, mean the government won't require you to build more houses, because there is a dearth of housing, and I think in terms of over the last decade or two, we've slipped back in terms of provision. So it's a controversial issue.
It's excited some comment from the Council for the Protection of Rural England, hasn't it, as well?
Oh, well, yes, because we're almost, the city and district here is almost 81% surrounded by green belt. So a lot of land is green belt. And to hit the 15,000 target, a lot of green belt is having to be used. In fact, the CPRE are very concerned because they're saying 1,957 acres are going to be lost to housing. And of course, their remit is to protect the green belt, protect the rural countryside. So they're very upset. And those who are finding housing developments in their backyard, of course, are also upset. So there's going to be quite a lobbying and quite a lot of concern and complaints about the local plan.
Putting to one side, though, whether we need that many houses in the demographic data, assuming we do you believe it's impossible to do without using Greenbelt?
It would be impossible, yes, for our council not to go into the Greenbelt. They're obviously in the local plan, if you have a look at it, they are trying to utilise all the brownfield sites they can. It's caused some consternation because they're actually putting in into the plan car parks, central car parks, as opportunities for building, and that will cause also some consternation.
Yes. There's already plenty of annoyance around at least alleged lack of parking. Interesting. Well, so if you've got views, now is the time to make them known, and you can go along to your local plan exhibition that will be coming to a street near you very soon, probably. So just look on the council's website and search for local plan, as Tim says. Our guest is Tim Boatswain. Tim is president of St Albans Civic Society. We're going to be talking about an interesting planning application that's been put in for Verulamium Park, amongst other things. We'll be back with Tim after this. Tim, a planning application for Verulamium Park. What's this all about?
Well, yes, this is about events in Verulamium Park.
Okay.
At the moment, the council can put on 28 days of events, which of course usually in summer, pub in a park and this sort of thing. But they are applying now to extend that to 56 days.
Wow.
And that, I think, is going to cause some concern.
Is the concern that it will result in loss of the park for two months every year, or are the concerns otherwise?
I think the concern is more likely to come from local residents about noise pollution. I think that will be the problem. You can see the council want to put on more events, and that's, of course, important in terms of the economy of St Albans, and they're very popular, and it's a good space. But many of those events are accompanied with, obviously, with quite a lot of noise. It's the audio systems that create difficulties, the PA systems, and so on. So I think there will be quite a lot of resistance from local residents to this.
Interesting. Yes, I don't suppose it's great to have pub in the park at the bottom of your garden, really. So the application from the council's in now, and I assume people are making comments.
Exactly. Yes, you can go on the planning website and you can see the comments that are being made.
Now, Tim, I've heard that you've been hanging around dark alleyways lately.
Yes. Well, we have some lovely alleyways, except they're not looking very lovely. It's interesting. It's a historical feature in the city centre that, particularly down Market Place and towards Market Cross, there was a flesh market in the medieval times, and there were stalls with passageways between them. These got converted into buildings, but the passageways remained, and all those passageways can be used as shortcuts or whatever. Unfortunately, they rather deteriorated, not very well looked after. So I've been working with various organisations to try and improve their condition. One of the issues, of course, is that at the moment, many of them, like Lamb Alley, Pudding Lane, Boot Alley, have a lot of wheelie bins in them. And they're partly for businesses, and they obviously need to put their waste somewhere, but they're also partly for residents there. And the problem is they're often overflowing, which isn't very nice, smelly, but also, of course, a health hazard, because vermin can get access to them. And I'm really trying to work towards getting rid of the wheelie bins so that we could have perhaps some permanent containers there, which people could put bags into, and then they could be removed. And that would free up a lot of space in the alleyways, which would make them quite nice. And then some information plaques to go up to explain the historical significance of some of the alleyways. And we've actually started with one alleyway, which is Sovereign Way. Sovereign Way is between what is now Joe Malone and Cafe Nero on the marketplace side. And it was the entrance to rather than scandalous event that took place back in 1851. Yeah, so what happened in 1851 was, as I say, the parliamentary candidate, Jacob Bell, arrived in the electorate. And you would walk down that alleyway, and there's a door, black door now on the right. You'd go in there, and they'd give you a cup of tea or some refreshment, and then you would have your chance to go up the stairs to the agent's office. Go in, the agent would be sat there, and he'd, according to witnesses, he'd get up and look out the window, and while he was doing that, you helped yourself to some sovereigns. I think it was 5 of them you were allowed to take away, and off you went. And 300 of the electorate were bribed in this way.
Wow.
And so a big inquiry was set up, which took place in what is now the Museum and Gallery, and witnesses were called. Interestingly enough, 5 women were called as witnesses. I love this bit because they would bribe themselves to persuade their husbands to vote for Jacob Bell.
Because they couldn't vote anyway, right?
Exactly. Women couldn't vote then.
Gosh, they were really desperate to get in, weren't they?
So anyway, this huge scandal, in the end, the inquiry decided they were going to make an example of not just the candidate, but of St Albans generally, because everybody connived with this scandal. And so St Albans lost the right to have an MP for over 30 years.
It's kind of a perverse sanction, isn't it, really? But there we are.
There we are. That was the punishment, yeah.
Okay, so that's why Sovereign Way then. And so some things have already started in Sovereign Way, some of the sort of, I don't want to call it gentrification, but some of the improvement in alleys has already started then. Yeah,
and the main thing there was we commissioned the mural artist Ant Steele. That some of you may remember, he did the portrait of the Queen and then the one of the King, which is in Christopher Place. He also did that amazing falcon at the film festival a couple of years ago. So we commissioned him to do that, and he gave him some illustrations, and we've got a nice portrait of Jacob Bell and the agent, and we've even got one of the female witnesses. So do have a look down Sovereign Way, have a look at this, I think, really excellent mural.
Oh, excellent. A mural in one of the alleyways, which hopefully...
And then the Historical Society have already started work on an information board, so it'll all be properly explained. So you'll be able to actually see, and what I've been telling you will be put in a proper format, so visitors can find out why there's a mural there and what took place.
Ah, how fantastic. And hopefully the beginning of some improvements of the alleyways in St Albans. Now, you've been talking to a man about a dog, haven't you, Tim?
Okay, yes, dogs. Well, some of you remember, not this last Saturday, but the Saturday before, was International Dog Day. And the BID, the Business Improvement District, had a dog day for St Albans. It was very good. And lots of frames where people have portraits of their dogs done, but we've gone one stage further, and we are being given permission to put dog portraits up in what is a passageway leading off French Row, where the dog inn used to be, and is now named Dog Cut. And dog portraits will go up there. The idea is, if you own a dog and you'd like a portrait of your dog done, you contact us, and we put you in touch with a local artist. And at the moment, it'll probably be Ant Steele again, and the portrait will go up. You obviously have to pay for the portrait, depending on what size it is, but the portrait will go up in Dog Cut for a few months, and then it'll come down and you take it away, and it's obviously, you pay for it, it's yours to keep at home. The idea is to brighten up the alleyway, but also to have a nice picture of your own dog, nice portrait.
What a great idea. Now, if there's a dog lover listening and thinks, oh, I'd like that, how do they get in touch?
Well, the best way to get in touch is actually to get in touch with me initially, and my email is tjboatswain, BOATSWAIN, @gmail.com.
All right, that's great. Well, Tim, more power to your elbow with the dog portraits. It'd be lovely to see those up. Thank you very much for joining us this morning on Mix Mornings. That's Tim Boatswain. Tim is president of St Albans Civic Society. Tim, thank you.
Thanks very much, Nick.